Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cheerleaders, welcome to Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. This is my training partner, Anthony. This is a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So I want to start the show with a little bit of apology. I know our last episode, I was talking about how the World Championships were going to happen this year, that we were going to have a 2021 World Championships in judo, but that the date has changed.
Damn it, now, Juan, you had one job.
I know, seriously, these things keep on changing on me. And I swear, I looked on the IGF website the day before we did our stuff to write down my notes, and it had the other date on there. I swear it did. Maybe it was because I knew that they were going to change it. I heard they were, but apparently they did from the time we did the podcast and we put it out there. They officially changed it. So yes, the IGF is going to have a World Championships, and it's going to be in Budapest still, but it's going to be on January 6th to the 13th. Now, the IGF is still having this tournament, and from what I read and what I looked at stuff is that they're going to give people just one more shot to get their points to go to the Olympics. I think that's, I don't know. I think that you should have been already qualified to get to the Olympics, but that's what they're going to do. Anthony, do you have anything to say about that?
No, I think it makes sense. Like, given how crazy it is, I mean, you can't really blame them for, editing stuff on the fly, given just the like, for example, I literally just read this morning in bed that the Paris Grand Slam got canceled. So,
did you? Because I swear to God, I looked at this morning too, and it was still on. So thank God I didn't talk about that.
Yeah, it was postponed to May earlier, but now they canceled it. So like, they're gonna have to come up with more events for more points. Like, it's just like, oh man, constantly changing because of like just the way the things are right now.
Yeah. So they apparently the World Championships are still going to happen. It's going to be in Budapest still. Our friend Johnny is going to try to go to it. We hope he does, because if he does get to go, it'll be a great story when he comes back to interview him again.
If I get the vaccine, I want to go with him just to spectate. But
Anthony's going to go coach him this time, apparently.
No, I'm just going to go as a tourist.
Yeah. Just go as a tourist.
I'm not going to bring my gi, because I think I'm going to like train versus just visit. I've never been to Hungary, so it'll be cool.
Be interesting. All right.
Yeah.
So today's episode, we actually did an interview with a guy that's been trying to get an interview with us for a while. This is Kristian. And you may have heard him on Dave Rowland's podcast, Judo Chop Suey. And we just talk about, his judo experience doing judo here in America and in Canada. He mostly spends his time in Canada now, especially after pandemic. So we're just going to talk about judo in two different countries. Anthony, anything else to say?
We're just chatting and talking about cross training and training philosophies and stuff. So it's a very casual chat. So laid back. We really enjoyed it. So
yeah,
hopefully you guys.
So without any further ado, let's get to the interview. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now we have an interview right now. We're gonna have an interview with Kristian. He's been wanting to talk with us for a while. So Kristian, explain yourself, introduce yourself to our audience, and how'd you get into martial arts and how'd you get into judo?
Yeah, so I got into martial arts when I was in end of high school. I went to a karate kickboxing gym in San Diego where I grew up. It was pretty eclectic. Like our karate guy, he had us do pure karate stuff, one-on-one. And then most of the classes were kickboxing. He brought in a Muay Thai guy, and then he would teach us no-gi jiu-jitsu because he was a blue belt once a week. And that really led me to the path of grappling.
Okay, so you start off with striking arts and then just you fell in love with grappling like the rest of us did, it seems.
Oh, yeah.
So what have you trained? I know you told us before this, but...
Yeah, so when I went to university here in Vancouver, Canada, I was like, oh, jiu-jitsu, I really like that because there's no Kenpo here. I'll take it at the university club, and they had us do it once a week in the gi. So I bought a gi. I was after a semester of that, I was I don't know any takedowns. I see it has judo. Let me try out the judo. And that's been it's been the rest of my history ever since. I've competed in freestyle wrestling a couple of years ago. I've competed in catch in Southern California. I've done combat wrestling here in Canada. I train some Sambo. We have a lot of judo guys who've done Sambo in the former Soviet Union or learned it here. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but I've trained that for on and off since like late high school. I'm 26 now. And I just got my Judo black belt in, it's been so long.
Well, congrats.
In December 2019.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. It's a great accomplishment. It feels so good when you get your black belt, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. But now I'm like, I haven't trained.
Oh, like.
So it seems like you just fell in love with grappling. And do you still train any sort of striking?
I picked up the gloves like maybe a few times a year, just because if I had like a friend who did more striking, I'd be like, yeah, let's see how I do. Not that great. So I have like a very basic understanding. I know how to throw all the punches and some kicks. So
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm same boat here because I don't enjoy getting hit in the face very often. So
it's a different breed of person.
Yeah. Is that the case for you? Is there something about grappling that just made you pick that over striking?
Looking back on it now, I think wrestling is wrestling, whether it be judo, sambo, catch, whatever. I like it all. If it's wrestling, I like it. So
now I noticed that when you said that you started with BJJ first and you got your blue belt in it, but you continue doing judo instead, and now you're a black belt in judo. What drove you to do judo more than BJJ or just straight wrestling? Because I know, like for me, doing wrestling after high school was kind of tough to find a place. But what drove you to do judo instead?
I think it was money. Being a starving student. I think I still am, but I've gotten wiser about it. So judo was much cheaper, and I think I enjoyed it more. Maybe here in Vancouver, it's sort of you got to go all in. Like there's a lot of like really heavy Gracie Baja. Like you got to buy all our stuff. Like I have a friend who works at a GB, but he also does judo with me. So I think that's why we're friends. I don't think that really drew me, but when I would go back home to San Diego, I like joined some gyms there. Like my last gym I trained at there was Clark Gracie Academy. So I trained there 3 summers or something, and cross training judo also at a judo gym down there.
Okay.
Which, do you mind me asking?
Yeah.
Which judo?
Magoto and like Chula Vista, East Lake.
Yep. Do you consider that your
I'd
dojo,
say that's my home dojo in the States, but I've been to most judo gyms in San Diego. So from like Judo America to, I've never gone to Sanchi. I've heard good stories about them in Vista. Yeah,
they're a great bunch of guys.
I think that's where Justin Flores started. So, yeah.
Oh, really? Huh. Which dojo do you train?
I train at Burnaby Judo Club. There's like 3 big judo clubs here in our part of Canada, or at least in BC. It's Burnaby, Stevenson, and then there's Abbotsford. I know all 3 of these gyms have sent guys to go to the National Training Center in Quebec. So, and
wow. Have you been to the National Training Center?
I haven't been out east since I was a kid to see like my family.
Is that on your bucket list?
Yeah, I'd really like to go train at the Judokan in Montreal, just because it's kind of like a hotbed for the judo. Although I think that's kind of switched to the National Training Center.
So you said you got your black belt. Did you get your black belt here in the United States, or did you get it in Canada?
In Canada.
You got in Canada.
Yeah.
Now with that, was there a difference between like the requirements in Canada compared to the US, or did you?
I think so. Like I don't remember what affiliation our Magoto is. Guys, we think we have like USA Judo banners, but I feel like we're USJF. Like I could be wrong.
In Canada?
No, in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, that's what I thought too. I thought you said like in Canada, like, that's very interesting. I guess why not? Satellite school, why not?
But yeah, there's a defined system. I think it's different than the US because you need 120 points to grade from EQ, so brown belt, to Shodan. So you can get that through competition. You can get that through refereeing. You get like 5 points refereeing a tournament. I think
you guys get 5. Okay.
Yeah. You get 30 points a year as a black belt or as a brown belt. I think it's either 30 or 20. So if you're not a competitor, you have that route. You can just wait it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I got it through competition.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, because that's one of those things. Like here in America, it's like there's the whole point things where you get certain points for beating people, and I think like in America, if you participate at a tournament like just as a helping table, I think you get like half a point or 1 point, and I'm not sure how much refs get. Like I can't remember if it because 5 seems like a lot to me. I can't remember last time I refed.
Well, 5 points per tournament. How many do you have to ref for to get 120?
Well, I think here in America, I think it's like 1 point per tournament. So you want to get your black belt through refing.
Yeah, but I don't think you need 120
if you win by like Wazario, Zeti, Ippon, or Ippon, you get 10 points. If you win by a lesser score, it's 7. And then you don't get points for...
So you only really need like 12 matches if you were really good.
You could do it.
Yeah.
I know that like in America, like when I was explaining it to people, our threshold's lower, but we have these weird like quarter, like I said, like if you participate in a tournament, you get like half a point. So if you beat someone with a Wazadi, you get half a point. If you beat someone by Ippon, that's a full point right there. If you beat somebody that's 1 rank higher than you, that's 2 points. Or beat someone that's...
I don't get the half a point.
Yeah,
thing.
or
they might as well just increase the threshold and call it. You get 1 point for this and 5 points for this.
Well, there was a weird thing with that. There was Yukos for a while. You get a third of a point. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get 3 Yukos now to get a full point.
Yeah. What's the kata requirement in the US? Because I know what it is for Canada.
So
okay, that was going to be my question.
Yeah,
let's start with that. Did you have to do Nagino?
Yes. Explain your part. Explain your half of it.
So once I got to 120 points, you have to get your sensei's approval, and then you go. At least here in BC, you have to go to the. They have like, since the 3 big gyms are mostly here, there's like one place where you can all the brown belts go to test for the first 3 sets of Nagi no Kata for first dan. You do all 5 for second dan. And then for third dan, you do all 5 as uke and tori. So
interesting.
Going into this, I had already been in uke for a second dan test as a blue belt. I think I was a Nikyu.
Okay, so you didn't have to do the full set.
No, I just had to do the 3.
It's interesting because I know I think it was some European countries or they have you do the first like set in Sankyu and then second set in Nikyu and then like the other in EQ and then you do the full set when you do you don't have to do it all at once, but for each step of the way to Shodan you have from Sankyu you have to do a set. So that's interesting. Did you personally find any value in doing it? Like
I thought I would not like kata at all actually, but at my gym we had kata classes and then the other Stevenson has like that's where you go to grade for most things because they're the oldest gym. I think they're the oldest gym on the West Coast. I think they're older than Seattle Dojo. So that's like the hub. And I did their kata class. And they basically at the end of it they're going to tell you if you're going to pass or not basically. Okay. So that's a benefit. Okay. But yeah, I liked it.
That's nice.
I think it has value.
How did that work? Did you work with an uke the whole time you were practicing, and then you just like kind of like taking a driver's license test? You bring your own car.
Yeah. So I was lucky enough to, leading up to the black belt test, we took the course right before it. So me and John, we were both up for grading, and we were each other's ukes. So, and we both passed. It was great.
That's nice.
Although he had issues learning how to do proper like kata break falls off of like Sasai. He had really hard time with that. So
yeah, it's actually harder than it looks.
Yeah, I remember
it's an art.
Yeah.
He told the guy
it's an art falling.
He's like, I've been in my whole judo, like they've been teaching me how not to get thrown, not how to get thrown. So
okay, so Juan, you want to go ahead and explain your
so it gets complicated here in America, man, because in America we have 3 judo federations: USJA, USJF, and USA Judo. Now for USA Judo, you technically don't have to do the kata to get your black belt, but if you're a heavy competitor. If you're a heavy competitor, you have big points and stuff, your sensei can just sign off on you getting your black belt. Now for USJA and USJF, you have to do the kata. And the way that it works, the simplest way it works is that you have to actually do the entire Nagi no Kata, all 5 sets, and you have to be tori and uke for both of them. You can get exceptions for some people that are a little bit too big to get lifted. So then I have to do the throwing part, but pretty much everybody has to do both parts. When I was a brown belt way back in the day, if you're a competitor, you only had to do the first, and you had enough points, you only had to do the first 3 katas, the first 3 sets of the kata to get your black belt. And then you actually never had to learn the second half. So I kind of got
basically there's really no set system here. It varies by dojo and federation. And
yeah,
we know some people that have never done anything and never done anything. Yeah. They just compete or even not compete and just get their black belt over time.
It seems so different between all the countries because we have some Brazilians here in my judo dojo, and they have to take like a written test in their federation and like the kata, and they're like, yeah, it's so easy here.
Is there what they call a batsugan kind of thing, like where you go fight like 5 people and you get promoted? Or
I feel like that was here at some point because I've talked to some of the older guys and they said they've heard of batsugan, but I've looked in the Judo Canada syllabus. There's nothing about. I'm pretty sure there's nothing about batsugan. There's like no set up tournament or thing that would allow you to do batsugan.
Okay. So
I think that's a thing in the UK, right?
Yeah.
But we have one tournament too. We have one tournament here in Southern California while he's here in LA. We have one batsugan a year, and it's the hard thing. Like most people, I've only seen it one time where someone actually beats 4 people in a row. And that was just to get the brown belt.
Do it, right?
Yeah, well, only one of them's actually completed it. We've had people compete in it, like I competed in it and stuff.
I thought both Emmanuel and
Emmanuel did do it. Yeah. Hernan got his brown belt for it, and Emmanuel did it, but then our sensei denied him and said, "Nope, sorry, I'm not promoting you."
So you still need the approval of your sensei. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be nice if it's like the Kodokan, you have like monthly promotion tournaments, but we don't have the number. So that leads into my next question, like 120 points, uke, all that stuff. So for kata, how many people did you see taking the kata class, and how many people do you have at a typical tournament? Like, what's the judo scene in Canada like? Is it pretty healthy right now? Or?
I think it's pretty healthy. The tournaments were a pretty similar size to what I saw at like the Cal State game tournament here that they have in San Diego.
That's a big one here. Yeah.
We're not here, but there.
Well, here for us. So.
It's not bad. It's all right. It's not bad.
I'd say it's pretty similar size tournaments as that. We have one big tournament here. It's the Pacific International. And I've seen guys from the big Washington dojos like Ippon Dojo.
Yeah.
Or I think some guys from San Jose State have come before.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
How many fights? Oh, so first of all, what weight class do you fight at?
I used to fight at 81, but then I think I've gotten older and heavier. So now I'm 90. Okay. And I'm probably under 100 now with
hey, no worries, man. We all just
pandemic pounds.
Hey, I fought at 80 back when I was younger too, man. I'm a 90 guy now, and I cut down to 90 to fight. All right.
Yeah.
So how many matches do you typically get when you go to a tournament?
I'd say the 80 and 90 was about the same. In the more local tournaments, not the big ones, we probably good 2 or 3. Okay. I'm not the best competitor, so I didn't go all the way. I'm sure you could get up to like 5. It's a pretty healthy amount of people.
So there's a good amount of people in the bracket.
There's
you can get up to 5. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys actually do like brackets, or is it a lot of round robin? Because I know that's something we have down here in Southern California. We have a lot of round robin tournaments.
It depends on how many competitors they have. If they have a few, they'll go round robin. If there's enough, they'll go a single elimination, I think. Yeah. But the biggest tournament we have, it's actually set up not all on one day, which is very, very nice because we have the kids and the teens go one day and then the adults go the second day. And that's like my favorite. Nice. That's the best run tournament I've ever been to. They have like screens saying like, you will fight at this time. And
oh, nice.
If you've ever been at a tournament from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., yeah, you know how that feels.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Too many times. So
I know how that is.
That's the problem I have with the point system and here in America is that we just don't have enough competitors, especially in the local tournaments. So for example, if I needed 120 points, let's just say fight 12 times. Well, assuming I have to win 12 times, my weight class, it's the same 3 to 5 people that I've seen every single time for the last like 3 years. And I've never seen anyone else. So I'd be fighting the same people over and over and over again. So I don't know. I feel like that's just a flawed system here. And
I think there's an issue, especially with the lower belts. Like there's so few. It's sort of the reverse of the amount of competitors as jiu-jitsu. Like most of the competitors in jiu-jitsu, in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, is like white and blue. That's where all the players are, and there's very few in the purple, brown, and black. But in judo, it's like the opposite. So if you're like a yellow belt or like a white belt in America, you're not going to really fight anybody, or they're going to like mix divisions. You're going to have to fight up. Because
I think that's the best part about getting my brown belt is I started fighting brown and black belts, and that went from fighting the same 1 to 2 people to the same 3 and 5 people. So,
because when I was a Nikyu in Canada, that's blue, but in America, that's green, right? Because there's 3 greens.
No, Nikyu is brown here. So Sankyu, Nikyu, and Ikyu is brown here.
Brown. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But greens and browns and blacks fight together, right? In America?
No, only brown and black.
No.
Only brown and black.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's 3 browns. So, because I remember I was a blue belt, but that was a brown in America, and I fought up in that division. So that was that was interesting for me, because in Canada, I'm an EQ, I'm a blue belt. I fight with the blue belts, not with the brown and black belts.
Because you said what Q you were, that's why. Like, oh, he's an EQ. Okay, he's a brown belt, so put him with the brown and black. In America, it's pretty much like, this is what I always call them. All the citrus colors are all white belts pretty much. So you guys all fight each other. But then when you get the brown belt, you're kind of tossing with the sharks. It's all brown and black belts at that point. So it's just like this really big gap in the middle right there. Where it's like, okay, you're with the sharks or you're in the kiddie pool.
Yeah. When do arm locks get available for adults? Because I know here it's
brown
green.
belts, the brown belts and above. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sankyu and above can use.
Yeah, they really
arm locks.
only divide. They only really divide it into novice, brown belt, and black belt. And the smaller tournaments, they combine the brown and black belts. The big tournaments, they'll have a separate brown belt category. But for the most part, it's just brown belt and black belt and novice. So,
okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool. The difference between America and like everywhere else.
Well, that's one of the things like why, like the older I get, the more I only compete at the big tournaments. Because like Anthony says, you'll fight the same people over and over again. Where us living in Southern California, I don't know if you're ever here at that time, but we have winter nationals here every year.
Yeah.
And we get a lot of people come out here. We have Golden State Opens actually held down here in Los Angeles usually. And then we have the California State Games, which is San Diego, which isn't that far also. So we have like 3 pretty major state tournaments here in Southern California, though, that brings people in so you can face different people. But if you're just going to small tournaments like the local, like out here, we have the local Nonca tournaments, the winter, the spring, and all that stuff. Yeah, you're going to face the same people over and over again. And those are the ones that seem to be combining everybody together. It's like, all right, all brown belts and black belts all together. Anyone under this all together. But when you get to the more advanced tournaments, the bigger tournaments, that's when you start dividing them up more. Okay, stricter on weight classes, stricter on which Q you are, stricter on what belt you are, and the rules.
Yeah, I feel like if you're not a great competitor and you're fighting the same people over and over again in video games, what do you call it? Like feeding? You're just feeding the guy his black belt, like just helping him level up.
That's a concern I had with Batsukan. Like unless it's another hungry brown belt who wants to win. I mean, if you're a black belt and you're like, oh, this kid wants to win, maybe I'll just give him a fall.
That's good. Yeah. But when you do, okay, so I've seen a Batsukan before. It gets tiring. Okay, imagine you're tired after one match. Okay, imagine how tired you are after one regular match. Then you have to fight another person, and say you're good enough and you beat that person. Too, by the way. No, yeah, they just keep getting heavier. They put you up to belt rank and it's lightest to heaviest. Yeah, you just keep fighting. There's a little bit of a break. I think maybe a minute or so break.
That's really unique, actually.
And you just keep fighting. You just keep going. That's why it's hard. That's why it's hard to beat 4 guys in a row. That's why you like if you beat 2 guys, you're like, oh shit, all right, I got 1 more to go. Then you get that 4th guy, like, oh shit, okay, I beat that guy. Another one. Oh, look at this big boy right here. I'm screwed.
So this is my understanding of how it works. Is I don't know about the ranking, but usually they usually all the same rank or someone close to your rank, and then they line you up from largest to smallest, and then the smallest 2 fight, and then whoever wins fights the next person in line. So it goes up like that. Yeah.
Because I think here in the Pacific Northwest, there's the Continental Crown. They have a they have a championship belt that they give out. So the winners of all the weight classes can sign up to do the open weight, which is really unique for judo. I've never seen. That's the only tournament I've seen that has one. And we got in our dojo, we have a guy who won it, and in the like trophy case, you see it. There's a championship belt that says Continental Crown. So
that's crazy. I love belts. Like I would do it just to get a belt. Though, was it last year? Was it Anthony? We went to USA Nationals.
They had a belt,
and they gave belts for the first time.
Yep.
Yeah, they gave belts to all the national champions. And it's just weird. It's so gaudy. It's like, it was very ugly, but I still wanted it, but I couldn't get it because I was fighting in Masters. Yeah. Like, sorry, sir, you're in Masters. You can't get it. I was like, oh man.
It actually reminded me
buy one
old school boxing belts, but it came in red, white, and blue. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of looked like a clown belt. I don't know.
One of you is a pro wrestling fan too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
So my guilty pleasures, people hate it, but it's like, I don't care. If you don't like it, come fight me in the ring.
I think as a kid, I should have known that I'd like it because I love pro wrestling. So
yeah, I love those belts.
Juan, you have any more stuff before we move on to? I want to talk about cross training since Kristian has such a wealth of experience cross training.
Well, I want to talk one more thing. Like you said, you train in San Diego during the summertime when you're down back home, and you train most of the time up north in Canada because you're going to school out there. What's the difference between the training situations out here? Like, what are the big differences you've seen from American training to Canada training? I
think it's before. So my club, Burnaby, had it's like a group. It's a community. It's in a community center, and there's a board that sort of runs it of like old timers. And it's run since the 60s. You're not going to get in trouble,
are you now? You're not getting in trouble, are you?
If Paul's listening, he's old, so he's got a kid now. Yeah. So it's a very like community based versus I think in my experience in America, it's like one head sensei leading his sort of private or semi-private nonprofit. It's like one guy leading the pack. Whereas in Canada, these big gyms that I've been to have boards of guys, of black belts who take care of stuff, who've delegated stuff. Sure, we have a couple of small gyms where there is like a head sensei who kind of runs everything. But in America, I haven't really seen those big gyms that are able to have a board, you know? Mm-hmm. And the training was mostly the same, but we got a new coach. We have a provincial coach, Jeremy Labrie. I think he's done really well internationally before for France. He's from France, and he used to coach the women's national team in Canada. Okay. But once he got done with that, he came to be the BC provincial coach. And I think so. Some of the provincial coaches, I think Alberta has one guy from Scotland, and they produce a lot of good players. But seeing him run, because he's based out of our dojo, and he goes around the province to help out other dojos, he's raised our level higher to a level I've never seen in America. I'd say it's on par with what I've taken one Justin Flores class at Studio 540. It was like on par with the level of technical, just really high level technique, or like setups, grip fighting, everything. So how did they just got invited to just live there? Because it sounds like they got invited to be a provincial coach, but then at the same time you're saying they're coming out of your dojo. So did they just decide to move there randomly and then they looked for a job there, or are they moving there? I'm not sure how it was set up. The provincial coach has to be set up in a gym somewhere, I'd imagine. So
yeah, so I wonder if they just signed them, or
the Team BC practices switch. It's mostly done in our dojo, like Tuesday, Thursday. But on Saturdays, it will switch from the other big dojo, Steveson, or kids will have to go out to Abbotsford, which is about 30, 40 minute drive from.
Okay. Seems like a far drive, but why not? You're going to get your training in.
So ever since you guys, have you been asked to help instruct beginners or teach or anything like that?
Yeah. So I started at the university club, and I still have a good relationship with them. So most of my teaching has been there. I help out them once a week because they go Monday, Wednesday. So I'm able to get the good trainings on Tuesday, Thursday, and go to see my friends and like my original senseis at the university Monday, Wednesday.
Okay. What kind of resources have they given? Have they told you, okay, this is the curriculum, you got to teach this and then this and in this order? Or were they just kind of like, because in America here, they just be like, okay, you're a sensei, you decide what to teach.
I think the head sensei bases a lot off of the syllabus for Judo Canada. I don't know if you've looked into it, but there's like yellow belt syllabus, and she follows that pretty closely. So she delegates like, hey, because we split the class. Since it's a university, every semester we have a lot of new guys. So it's like a new cohort of guys of like 10 new people every semester. I was one of those new people. So it's very interesting to go through that system. So half the class is like new people, and then the other half the class, the other head sensei, he's doing like the sort of green belt and up, like advanced. So would you mind walking us through like would you teach a beginner? Like someone walks in, what's the first thing you teach them in the first week? Like Osoto from the knees. One guy's on one knee and then you teach him Osoto.
Break falls.
Break falls.
I was like, wow.
So
they figure out how to fall.
They don't randori standing up until maybe 3 months in, I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah. It was great. I think, whereas all my experiences in any other gym doesn't have this like cohort system. It's just like one new guy comes in, you got to teach him break falls in like 2 classes, and he's got to go with everybody else in the recreational class, right?
Yeah, that's how it is here, and which is something I'm kind of against personally. But
yeah, it's not like that all the time here. It's just how people. Sorry, how people are.
Yeah,
they want to start doing judo, so they come. They want to do the big throws. They want to see stuff. They want to get on the mat, and that's when they try to run before they can walk. Now you're saying that you start off with teaching break falls, and you have this really strict curriculum of how you do things. Is that because you're training at a college and not at an independent dojo or at a community center?
Could you rephrase that?
Okay, so you said that you have these strict, not strict things, but it's like, okay, we're going to start doing break falls from the ground. Okay, we're going to start teaching osotogari from the ground. They're not allowed to do tachiwaza on their feet just yet. They have to be 3 months on the ground. Now, is that because it's a college program?
He said randori.
Yeah, randori.
Yeah, randori and stuff. So is that because it's a college course, or is it just because it's taught at a college?
I think we do it because we take it very slow, like break falls, like squatting back break falls, and you work your way up to like standing back break falls. Like kids are doing, or the guys are doing ogoshi, and they're going through like all the sort of basic techniques. They don't actually get to do full on randori until a little bit later, but they're doing like newaza stuff from, I don't know, maybe 4 weeks in.
Is it like a set time? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said like what newaza are they allowed to do? Just pins or
just pins? Yeah.
Pins and turnovers.
Our head sensei's seen some crazy people do stuff and get hurt.
Yeah.
At that gym, I've seen people break their arms. New people will do crazy things, as I'm sure you know. Yeah. So she's very strict. People have to listen to her, or they're out, basically.
Okay. I like that.
But I think it produces people that know judo well.
Yeah.
So
good fundamentals is important. So is it, you said 3 to 4 months, is that like you need to take a ukemi test kind of thing? Or is it like, you guys have been doing it for 3 to 4 months? So
she goes off of the Judo Canada syllabus. So they have like a time in grade requirement for yellow belt. And they basically follow that. And she's like, you need this amount of classes to get to that. And then she'll have you do a test, like show me ogoshi, show me ochi, show me diashi. And when they got the yellow belt, that's sort of once they've reached the end of the semester, if they keep coming, if they don't miss classes, they can start to move up. Or if we have a really small class because it's finals and we're running it more as one class, then they'll do more.
Do you know if they do the same things in other dojos in Canada? Or
I think I'm sure this is pretty similar for most university programs, but I've never seen this in non-university dojo.
Yeah.
Or a different gym. I've never seen this in a different gym.
Yeah.
This sort of like cohort system.
Because I had the same concern as Juan, which is why, even though I'm against it, I don't really fight it, is because people walk in, if you tell them you're not going to spar for 3 months, you just got to slap the mat for 3 months and wrestle on the ground, then I don't think many people would stay that long.
I think
3 months is a long time.
It's special because we only work with adults. Like these are college kids. Maybe we'll get an adult who walks in randomly.
Well, like I said, this is a PE program for your college, or just open to the public?
It's open to the public.
Oh, okay, it's open to the public. Okay, I thought it was just a PE course. All right.
You get no credit, unfortunately.
You get no credit.
You pay money, you get no credit.
All right. All right. The way it sounded, I thought, okay, it sounds like a great PE course. So like, of course they have to do all this stuff. Okay. So it's an open thing just taught at the college. All right. Okay. So it's people that really want to learn the basics of
There's
judo.
other martial arts that run in the same room too. Like there's karate. My buddy runs the jiu-jitsu program there actually. And I teach with him sometimes or by myself if you can't make it. So, and it's no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Do you end up teaching judo at your no-gi
I do.
class?
They've seen me in Sambo shoes there. Like sometimes after class, I'll bring my gi, or I'll be like, if anyone has a gi, bring it. Because we have a guy. If you've ever seen Stefan Kessing's videos,
yes,
the video he does with the Japanese jiu-jitsu instructor. So his Japanese jiu-jitsu, the Takanouchi Ryu, it's a Koryu. He teaches at the university out of that room. But he's also a blue belt. My buddy gave him his blue belt, and we all train together. So he's a really interesting guy to roll with. He feels like no one else I've ever done judo or jiu-jitsu or grappling with. So
it's always interesting when people come from a different background with grappling or just any sort of martial art, and they just have a weird, like different way of moving. It's just they're bringing that over. It's interesting.
So that's one of the reasons why I like catch wrestling so much, because I feel that you can do almost every grappling style in catch wrestling, in my opinion. And that's kind of why I do catch wrestling on the side with my team at Catch Wrestling Alliance. It's just like I can do my judo, I can do my freestyle wrestling in there, I can do a little bit of BJJ, and I can do traditional catch wrestling techniques there and not be held back as much. The only weird thing is that we're pretty strict on the old school catch and wrestling rules, so there's no choking. So sometimes you get a BJJ guy trying to choke her and like, no, no choking.
I think the rule, when I did the catch tournament in Brea, that was CSW run. So I think they allowed choking, but there was, you could pin from half guard, and as long as the shoulders were touching, that was the thing. Yeah. I got third, I think, when I did that. I got pinned in the half guard for third. And the girl who reffed me is Shayna Baszler now. Shayna
Baszler.
WWE. And she was like, "You got to work on that." And I was like, "Oh." I took a picture afterwards with Josh Barnett. He made me look small, and Eric Paulson. It was cool.
Yeah, I met Josh Barnett at a NJPW show one time, and he actually used to eat. He used to eat at my wife's restaurant a lot. So I actually have an autograph of him, and my wife has a few pictures with him and stuff. It's like, oh, my husband's a judo guy and a wrestler also. So, and I met him at the AJPW, and I was like, hey, you go to my wife's restaurant. He's like, oh yeah, I know that place.
Yeah, he's a big guy. He's bigger than I thought. Just watching him on.
And that's coming from some 90 kilo guys right there. Yeah. But it's funny you talk about getting pinned from a half guard, because one of my first days when I went in to catch the first day, someone went into my guard and I was just like kicking back and like, all right, well, let's get out my guard and try something. And it's like, oh, Juan, you're pinned. I'm like, am I really? From a guard position? Ooh, this is interesting. I never knew this before.
So because judo. Have you ever noticed? Sorry.
Judo, like, oh, I'm getting pinned, got to grab the leg or try and break the pin, because if you can get in half guard, you're not pinned.
Well, that's the one thing, like from growing up doing freestyle wrestling, it's like it's a 1 second pin. As soon as your shoulder are touching the mat, you're pinned. And then when I went into BJJ in college, like you didn't have to worry about pin or nothing at all. You're cool. And then when the judo's like, okay, so it's 20-second controlled pin. So I have 20 seconds to escape this. This is great. And then when you go back into catch wrestling, no, it's traditional catch wrestling rules. It's 2-second pin. Ah, shit, I got to work again. Can't just lay on my back.
Have you noticed different in style of judo in Canada versus America, or is it very close? Because given a geographical location,
I think
It's much colder.
regular players. Yes, it's colder.
Yeah, just when you fight, just when you fight in tournaments and stuff.
I would say no, but I'm familiar with the gripping system of like the Pedros or Travis Stevens, post on the shoulder, like do your work from there, like strip the grip. The gripping system that we've been taught, that I've learned from Jeremy, the provincial coach, which I assume is sort of what they're doing in the National Training Center, is not that. It's not the post and then go. It's much different. So on the, like, if I'm going to a tournament, mostly, it's regular people. I haven't really fought anyone who's like that great, like to go to National Training Center. So I haven't really noticed stylistic differences unless I get a guy from former Soviet Union who's like in a local tournament,
Yeah.
I really haven't noticed any more stylistic differences.
Can you talk about the gripping system a little more? Like,
yeah. So it's like, if it's right on right, they're telling us all the time, like left hand, sleeve, sleeve, sleeve. That's the first thing you should reach for, like, because it's their power hand. You grab it, and then you grab your second hand and work. And there's a bunch of things that we've worked off of from there. I'm a little bit wonky. I switch my stances.
I do the same thing. Yeah.
I did a private video lesson with Travis Stevens, and he's like, "You're a lefty. Like, stop going right." So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna listen to Travis. So when I go back to judo, I'm gonna have to relearn, because my best combination is from left. So it would make sense why he said I should be a lefty.
How did that private lesson go? I actually was thinking about it. I thought you would just send him a video and he reviews it with you, right?
Yeah. So he's there with footage? You. Yeah, it was competition footage. So I sent him. I think on his YouTube he did one for free with me. I have it.
I know he did one with another Kristian that I met out in Texas when I still lived there. I had to go back and check because.
I can send you that one.
Okay.
He kind of roasts me, so but that's great. Yeah. That's what I needed.
Yeah. So. He roasts everybody. It seems he watches videos. He's always roasting everybody.
If you followed me on Reddit, I think I roasted him too. I told him he was he blew up as fast as Nicholas Gill. So
hey, that's that.
He wasn't denying it.
No, he wasn't. It was great.
One of my students I do side lessons with, we're talking about it, and she was going like, "That fat guy." She was saying that fat guy's like, "Is Travis Stevens fat now?" And I was watching the video because to me, just like, yeah, he got bigger and stuff. But it was like, she kept on referring to that fat guy. And showing the video, was like, this guy. It's like, yeah, that fat one. Is like, wow. She thinks she's fat. I must be huge.
I think he did a randori session video with Shintaro.
I love that one.
And he was basically like, I haven't touched weights in years. Like he said outright, I haven't touched a single weight. And I think in another interview, he's like, yeah, I'm retired. I'm never doing it again. Like I earned it to just be fat, basically.
Never cut weight again. I'm never running unless it's to the food truck. All right. Unless I'm running to the buffet. That's the only time I run now.
So that I've watched some of the Jimmy Pedro gripping systems, but he talks about dominating the lapel side, right? Is first.
Yeah. So like if it's right on right, from what I understand, your left hand doesn't go for their sleeve. Like what I've been taught in Canada, it goes to post on their shoulder, and you wait for that grip to come for your lapel, and you can like grab it with your other hand, post it off, and now you're ready to go two hands and only have one, because they're big about them not having both hands on and you having both hands on.
How since you've done both, which one did you like better, or did you notice in certain situations one's better?
Earlier in my judo, I did a lot of the sort of Pedro or Stevens, like American judo system gripping, but I feel like people learned, and it stopped working after a while, and now I had to learn something different. You know how it goes.
Yeah, the meta changes.
Yeah. So now I pretty much don't do that. I'd be like, okay, I got to try something different and it will work. But for me, that's a very right on right gripping system. And my best throw comes from left. I had to learn something different.
Okay.
So
was it hard to change? Because I know sometimes you've been doing something for so long, it's like instinct, and you're not supposed. Now you got to like consciously think like I need to grab the sleeve first versus the lapel.
No,
first.
I don't think it was hard. Just adapting. So
Okay. Natural grappler here.
I don't think so.
Well, it seems like you do a lot of grappling. Like,
Yeah.
What else besides judo? Like, what would you say was your favorite other style besides doing stand up?
Favorite other style. I think for me, the sort of ideal style is Sambo, because I really like judo is number one in my heart, but I'm the guy on Reddit who's like leg grabs. So for me, the philosophy of judo, like maximum efficiency, minimum effort, is not really realized in judo anymore. Like judo's great how it is, but it's realized now in Sambo because you can do leg grabs, you can do everything. There's no gripping restrictions. Gripping restrictions doesn't make it maximum efficiency in my mind. You can do whatever to be really efficient. If you get like a back grip and you have to throw right away, that's not efficient in my mind.
Yeah.
So, well, that brings up another question then. So, one of the problems is that what we see sometimes that a lot of teachers just teach to win, just teach to win in judo. And a lot of people, even though like when I go to the big tournaments and I go to the coaches meeting, they say, you guys still teach motogari, still teach a single leg grabs. They still say teach these techniques, even though you can't do them in tournaments. And some sensei just be like, just toss out the window. Well, if I can't do a leg technique, what am I going to teach it? Is that the same thing in Canada? Do they teach leg techniques at all? Do they teach leg grabs? Not at all?
No, not at all. I've never been taught a leg technique in my,
come over to Hollywood,
6 years.
Come over to Hollywood. I'll teach you leg techniques. All right, man. Like I still keep them alive.
I had to
come
learn
to Hollywood. I'll teach you
by myself or through wrestling with the university club, leg grabs online through watching Matt Takino do stuff. I never learned it from my judo guys.
Okay.
Which is sad.
That's sad. Oh, it is sad. Like, cause that's a whole tier of stuff that we're just losing, I think, because a lot of teachers only teach to win. And they say at the meetings, they always say like, keep teaching leg techniques. You can't do in tournaments, but keep teaching them. And that's where I come from. It's like, I love leg techniques still. So I love teaching motogari or grabbing for the single, going for that ochigari right there. My favorite techniques. Anthony hates it because he gets knocked out all the time from it.
Take-a-ruma is my favorite. So
yeah,
that's how I got my first concussion was your morotogari. Not your morotogari, but some other yellow belt concussed me with morotogari.
I had a guy from Kazakhstan who trained with us at my club, and he was a beast. I remember he like picked me up to do uranage, and I was like tapping in the air. I was like, I'm done.
no, please God, no.
And like I went flying, but I had a great break fall. I was like, wow, I didn't get hurt. So I'll always remember that. I flew Air Kazakhstan that day. I did a Borat. I asked him about potassium, and I don't think he liked that. So I'm sorry.
That's why he got to Uranage. See, that's why he was like, "Oh, the guy went to play." All right.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that you talked about Sambo because the leg grab thing, sure, right? But that you can get that anywhere. For me, what I really like about Sambo is that to get the full ippon, like their equivalent of ippon, is you have to stay standing in a controlled manner with the throw. You can't just do the kind of crap you see in that IJF that we were just
rolling
talking
ippon.
about. Yeah.
Like Dave Rowan talks about the rolling ippon, and I agree with him. It's awful.
I have not heard that episode yet. It's I saw your comments on it, and I'm gonna go take a listen because I was like, oh, this is gonna be interesting.
Well, I think with the rolling ippon, in my opinion, is that people see the rolling ippon and they try to imitate it, and it just looks just bad judo. You lose position. Like in judo, it makes perfect sense to me. It's like, okay, you're trying to get the pin, you're trying to get the full back on the mat. It makes sense. But doing that on the street or anywhere else, if it's a catch wrestling or open grappling system, it's like, so what's the point? I just lost position now. Unless I really hurt the person with the throw, I just lost position. I hate that.
Yeah. I mean, you guys probably have a little more experience than me, but when I first started judo, it did not look like that. And when you watch people train, they didn't do the whole rolling onto their back thing for all the shoulder throws.
Yeah.
Now they're actively training it, which is
I've been taught it.
Yeah.
So
You've been taught it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you like roll through to where your chest is looking at the ceiling. I think it is great to get like a definitive like seoinage, like you get them on their side, but then you roll through and it feels really good from like a tori perspective. But you know, like you get them on their side and it like stops, and then you're like, oh, I rolled him on his side. Wazari. I don't like that.
Yeah, really, really hate that. And the drop seoi spamming is just I'm not going to name, since you're from Canada, I'm not going to name who.
I heard you on that one episode.
Yeah. So, but I'm just like, all you're doing is spamming and trying to Shido out the other person. Like, and there's nothing they can do. You keep dropping on your knees other than try and choke you. But like,
just playing the game, man. Just playing the game.
I'm rooting for her though in those matches. Yeah. Maybe I'm a little bit hypocritical because I'm like, the person born in Canada, like raised in Canada through the judo system in Canada should be the one to represent, not the person.
I could agree with that.
Canada. But I was born in America and then I got my Canadian citizenship through my mom from Canada. So maybe I'm not the person to talk.
Next year, you're going to be trying to take a spot from somebody next year.
Like I'm a Mexican citizen too, because my dad's from Mexico. I'd be like, if I went to Olympics, be like, I'm going to go for Mexico. I'd be taking spot from a Mexican guy who trained in Mexico. I'd be like, I get that.
It's not that hard, brother. It ain't that hard right now. Mexican team needs people, all right?
Like, what's her name? Awiti, Priscilla? From Team UK or Team Great Britain. She went over to compete for Mexico. Oh. I always root for her when I see her. I think she's minus 48, 52.
Okay. Well, the thing is that Mexico only has their only best players. And I hate always saying that is the heavyweight women. That's the only ones you'll see like in the bigger tournaments do well is their heavyweight women. You never see none of the men do well if you ever see them at all. And the lightweight women.
It's sad.
Yeah. Hey man, you want to get in the spot? Try it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll be like your friend who is going to go to the Olympics maybe for Vietnam.
Yeah.
He's aiming for world championships next year. He said this year, actually, he said. So
okay.
We'll see what happens.
Good luck to him.
Yeah. Have you seen a video of him getting thrown in like 10 seconds?
I think so. Yeah.
Don't bring that up. That's so mean, man.
No, it's it's his Facebook profile picture for like the longest time. He was like, "Oh, this guy threw me," and then
Will in the area asked for his autograph.
He did. Well, he didn't ask for my autograph. We saw him in the hotel we were staying at right after, without a gi on, and his forearms were like the size of my thigh. Like, I'm like, this is a 60-kilo guy with a forearm the size of my thighs. Like.
Yeah, water weight, man. Cut that water weight, get it back. You're good, all right?
So was there any, other than Sambo, you cross-trained all this stuff, was there something that you took from another art and incorporated, or not another art, another grappling style, and you incorporated into your judo that you found useful?
Wrestling, freestyle wrestling. Yeah. So like, I think it's called a leg turk, where you I use a lot for passing and some sort of passing control to like weave your arm through their legs and kind of cup on their knee. Like sort of like you're setting up for a leg lace to spin to win for freestyle. That has been really, really like something I don't think I would have ever found in judo or Brazilian jiu-jitsu, but I love it. And like sort of, and like
honestly, they're great to pin people with because their legs are crossed and they don't know what they're doing. And what I like about it is that their legs aren't in a position where they're not strong, so you can't kick out as much as they want to. So that's what I like about that position.
I started doing I have a sort of leg spin that I use I got from freestyle, not to like spin them to get 2 points in freestyle, but to expose their belly. I've tried it a few times in competition, but the ref doesn't give me enough time to set it up to like, I'll get their legs like locked in a leg lace in my arms, and then they'll be like mate. So I have another move that is sort of similar that I think I should be using instead. So
that's good.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. Freestyle wrestling, mat work has been the big thing for me.
What about from non grappling styles, like striking? Have you incorporated anything from that?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, he learned how to do a jab cross to come in for his Zippel Nagi.
No,
you know?
okay, hear me out. So
he set up with his jab. He was like, "Papa," to come in.
hear me out. So I trained Wing Chun for like a year and a half, and it's kind of like a meditative thing for me. So I'm not going to go out and say it's like super effective. I think you should totally go learn Muay Thai, which is what I ended up doing. But you guys, you said you benefited from kata, right? Like you learned a lot about the structure and how the mechanics of a throw work. So I think to me, that was what I got out of Wing Chun was they're really, really picky about your structure being exactly in the right posture, like fixing your posture, structure, your footwork. And no one in judo has ever taught me shisentai or jikotai, like this, the defensive stance and the like footwork, basically, like how you defend against a throw, having a good base and structure. And I think most people just learn that naturally through randori, which depending on the person, I think that take forever, or they'll never get it, or it'll be really fast. But when I learned Wing Chun, I was able to incorporate that base into my judo in a sense. It was hard, but because it was mostly static when we trained it, but it actually, people told me like, oh, you seem much heavier. Like it's harder to move you now and harder to throw you. And I was actually losing weight because I started training all this stuff. So for me, that's what I got out of some of the martial arts. And I was able to take my judo stuff over to Muay Thai, because when you're clinching, you're trying to break the other guy's structure and you're getting a sense that they're off balancing to throw them and clinch. So that's just me. So I think it's not, you can probably always get something from cross training some other martial arts.
As an anecdote to that, we had a guy at our judo club in the university, John. He's like, he must be like 120 pounds, like skeletal man. But he's an instructor for Wing Chun, like Chinese guy, great guy. He felt like no one I ever did judo with. Like his gi was like very loose on him. Like I'd grab him and like, I was like, I can't get any pull on him, because he's just like, his bones are just like thin in the gi, like moving around. So I'm interested in talking with them about whether he incorporates his Wing Chun into it, because some good Wing Chun schools will actually, like Wing Chun practitioners have really good sense of Kazushi because of the sensitivity training that they do with the sticky hands that you see. And also like they have a really solid base and understanding of structure and breaking down other people's structure. So that it'll be interesting to have a chat with them, but yeah.
All right. So Anthony, is there anything else you want to talk about? You want to talk about tournaments or anything?
Yeah, we're just going to talk about sumo.
I forgot about that. My bad. The skinny, big Chinese guy wants to talk about sumo. Or I'm sorry, my bad.
Have you tried sumo, Kristian? Or have you have interest in training?
Unfortunately, no, but there's a sumo tournament in Vancouver. It happens at the Japanese Cultural Center or Cultural Festival in the summer. But I've usually been home for the summer. Are you going to enter it? If they have it, I'm going to enter it. Absolutely. Oh man. Like there's videos of it. Our like -100 champion guy.
Is it open weight?
At our club? Yeah, it's open weight.
It's sumo. Of course, it's open
sumo.
weight.
Yeah. No. Like the sumo they do here in Southern California has weight classes.
Do they do the amateur?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
They do that world championship at that pyramid. Yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
But yeah, this cultural center. Like if you search Powell Street Festival Sumo, you'll see some of the matches from the past few years. The guy at our gym, the guy who won the open weight at the Judo Continental Crown, he's won that the past 2 years that they held it. Yeah, and like I do judo with him. I'm -90. He probably cuts to -100, but I cannot move him. He's a big Ukrainian guy. I cannot. Oh my gosh. I felt good when I did like a koichi on him and he actually stepped back. That was my win for that round. So I have I don't think I'm going to win, but if he enters, but absolutely, I want to go in that tournament, because I've got into sumo in the past year or so, and with the pandemic. So
okay, so you started recently. So we need to like plug sumo. We need to plug sumo here and be like, it's gotten
who's your favorite
popular.
Rikishi?
Yeah,
we need to plug everything, man.
What do you like about watching sumo? How did you find out about it? Let's start with that.
I think I've always known about sumo, but I think I've started watching videos of sort of the Grappler Kingdom big videos of
he does
best
great videos,
techniques in sumo. I'm like, wow, that's great. And then like this one, my favorite Rikishi, I think I've seen in there. I was like, I'll watch some of his highlights. And I'm like, oh, he's going to fight again. Because they have 4 tournaments a year?
6.
January, March. Oh, 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
January, March, and
January, March is every 3 months, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember one year I was like, oh, it's a January one. I'll tune in. I'll watch some. I'm tuning in for Enho. So.
Oh, you like he got dropped down. Well, his whole stable got COVID.
So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think I started watching January 2019, or maybe the Basho right before that in 2018 at the end.
So since you just started recently, let me let you in on the secret. If you like Enho, go watch the Judo division. You can find it on YouTube. There's a wrestler called Ura.
Oh yeah, Ura. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's my favorite sumo Rikishi.
Okay.
He used to do gymnastics, so he's heavier now, so he probably can't do it. But when he first started sumo, you'll see him do backflips. Like imagine a big sumo guy doing backflips and front flips and like all this gymnastic moves, and he would incorporate that into his sumo. Like he had a really highly acrobatic style of sumo wrestling, and you'll see some of his highlights is incredible. But that's also how he messed up both his knees. Like he tore his ACL twice. That's the issue with like Teruno Fuji and the Georgian. What's his name? Tokinoshin. Toshinoshin. Yeah. I actually saw him in a world champion.
I know. I listened to that episode. I was like, that was great. So
yeah, my girlfriend's a huge fan of him. So
literally, he's a huge, not just
he's pretty huge. Pretty huge. Yeah.
So your girlfriend, not your wife. I see.
Yeah, my wife. It's hard to get used to since COVID times.
I have a list of guys who I know done judo in like the upper divisions. There's Kaisei.
Yeah, Kaisei's done judo in Brazil, right?
Akawa has done judo.
Akawa's done it, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You don't really see it from his style, but apparently he's done it. And then Chino Kuni is another guy.
So since I'm plugging sumo here, for those that are uninitiated, sumo, basically anything goes. It's just you can't grab the top knot.
You can't kick the person, okay?
You can kick, actually.
No, not really. You did DQ'd if you kick a guy blatantly.
No, you can.
You go for Ashiwazas.
You can kick. It's just that it's not. Do you want to kick? Because someone can sweep you.
Sumo.
Yeah. Well, also people will make fun of you, but also you because anything other than the sole of your feet touches the floor, you lose. So if you kick, you're compromising your structure. So. You can even slap. That's why you see them slapping.
Yeah, palm strikes.
No closed fist punching. No grabbing the hair.
We have
like pro wrestling now. No closed hand punches.
We have a fourth dan in my gym from Japan, and he said that Hakuho as a yokozuna has kind of got a little bit of controversy because he uses a lot of the palm strikes. But he said that in Japan, if you're a yokozuna, you're supposed to be the best. You're supposed to use more like nagewaza. You're not supposed to use striking.
He does a lot of stuff that's unconventional, but people, this is why
he's the best.
So if you guys don't know Hakuho, he is like probably the one in 100 years kind of like wrestler. Like when I first started watching was when he started dominating, and I'm always like, why do all these sumo wrestlers suck ass? Like, because I'm expecting people
compared to him,
I'm expecting people to fight like him or someone that's close to him that at that level to be like making a good match. But he's just so dominating. He makes other people look like little high schoolers. And then I realized, no, this guy is just like really freaking good compared to other people. And with the yokozuna is like the highest ranked person. With him, all these yokozunas retiring. I'm looking at all these upcoming wrestlers. I'm just like, sumo's gonna suck after he retires. Yeah. Like,
I'm rooting for Teruno Fuji. I think I'm rooting
for him too.
Yeah.
But going back to Hakuho, so the sport is dominated by Mongolians, and they actually had to put a rule in that saying each sumo stable can only have one foreigner. You cannot have more than one foreigner competing. So Hakuho is actually Mongolian. So I think a lot of it has to do with xenophobia, that people don't like that this foreigner is like dominating and the icon of the sport right now. So people give him a lot of shit for using a henka, which is like stepping aside on the initial charge, and then he does a slap in the face thing on the tachi. I don't know if you notice a lot. So people say all of that stuff. Oh, it's not something that Yokozuna should do, but even without that, he dominates. So I think people are just nitpicking his style of sumo because of the xenophobia. But
well, didn't they make rules like a couple years ago where you had to speak fluent Japanese, you had to be a Japanese
that was always a thing,
and all this other stuff?
You don't have to be Japanese citizens, but you always had to. If you join a sumo stable, you have to learn Japanese because they're not going to speak in your language, and you kind of learn just by being there, I guess. Yeah, but
so Kristian, what's your sumo style? Are you a slapper? Are you a thrower? Are you a kicker? You're gonna be a thrower. Of course you are. You need your
which
judo,
is weird because I'd say my judo style is not in like I'm not the guy to grab your belt and throw you with ogoshi. I'm the guy to like stiff arm you and then hit you with osoto from like far, or do koji, or like I'd say I'm more of a sutemi waza guy. Like my best throw is sumi. It's left on right, left versus right. I get my back grip, I get my sleeve, I hit you with kochi to get you to step back, and then that opens up the space.
Are you talking about a Russian tie kind of thing from the sleeve in the back?
Nogi, yeah. Like my wrestling or my freestyle wrestling best move is the same. It's that sumi. I have a Russian, and then if it's settled, I'll transition my hand on the shoulder to the like far lat or like his armpit. I put my shoulder down to get his posture down, and I'll hit him with kochi to get him to step back, and then I hit sumi, and it works really, really well. It's my takuri waza, unfortunately. My takuri waza is a sutemi waza. So,
are you ashamed of it? Or are you?
I am a little bit, yeah. And I like kataguruma actually, like a IGF legal kataguruma. I have one that I learned from Matt Takino, watching him online. If like a guy's pressing you forward, you have that back grip, you can just like clamp down on his arm and hit him with a legless kataguruma.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. That thing's.
Are you guys like that right now?
No. Yeah, in my province, you can only see people inside with your household.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can't go. I have friends. I can't go to their house. We can't gather outside. We can go for a walk outside.
Enforce that though? Like,
depends. Like if it's blatant, like the people downtown having parties, they'll go give them fines.
But you can't really enforce going to your friend's house. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay.
So,
hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? I'm going home.
How are you keeping up in shape and training? Like, I can tell. I can tell you that you watch a lot of videos. So,
well, he said that he's 100+ kilos now.
Probably. I haven't weighed myself since then.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's preparing
I am preparing for the sumo.
Yeah.
He's bulking up. He's training. Oh, I see it now. I see it. You're bulking up for it. All right.
Canada is also behind on the vaccine.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh no, because I'm supposed to get it they said by the end of August or beginning of September for 26-year-old. Whereas it's in America, I think my group is supposed to get it in like June or July or something.
That's where my group is supposed
hopefully.
to.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
So I'm like, no, the sumo tournament is in August. I'm not going to make it.
Well, just come back to LA for a little while, come back to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I have
I'm considering
a room to stay at. So yeah. When things go back to normal, what do you have like a goal or training? Like I want to go to these tournaments, or I want to go train in Japan, or I want to go do this. Do you have like
I want to go. Yeah, Sambo. I want to go compete in Sambo. So I think they changed rules recently because like there used to be a tournament I was looking at called the Dutch Open, and it's supposed to be open, but now I think it's
now it's closed.
Now it's closed. I think your country has to send you. So like
so
Sambo in America,
it's going to be in Europe then. You call it Dutch Open, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's in Dutch. It's in Netherlands.
In Holland. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Dutch.
In Netherlands. Yeah.
Well, again, you're half Mexican, brother. All right. I bet you Mexican doesn't have too many Sambo players. All right. You and me, we can go. We can make a Mexican Sambo team. All right.
My buddy, I have a buddy. There's a Sambo Discord, and they were looking for someone to send for America. I think to go. They were having a combat Sambo event in Mexico.
Combat Sambo. That's a different story, though. I don't want to get kicked in the nuts. So
I was like, oh, maybe I could go.
Work up,
represent America. But it didn't work out with school. So
okay.
I know a guy on the Sambo Discord who went though. So
how do your parents feel about that if you were to do this stuff?
I don't know. Mom would probably not watch it.
Yeah. So.
I'd be the only Mexican citizen who doesn't really speak Spanish. So
Johnny, the guy who went to fight in World Championship, his mom was not really fond of him getting thrown the way that they get thrown in IDF circuits. So yeah.
But yeah, the Dutch Open, I'm not really sure how that's going to work now. I'm not sure if I could be sent by Canada or by America or by Mexico, but probably if that wouldn't work out, I'd go do one of the American tournaments because there's a few more nowadays. Like there's a Sambo Texas organization.
Yeah.
So
I really want to try Sambo.
There is a Sambo USA Federation, isn't there?
USA Sambo. I haven't heard good things about the politics going on. I think the recent controversy that I've heard from my friends is they're talking about adding belt ranks to Sambo because
everybody wants a goddamn belt rank.
Yeah. Because
if you're not Japanese or Korean, you don't get. Dude, did you watch the UFC last night? Okay. Did you guys watch the UFC last night?
I just looked for highlights on Reddit.
All right. So one of the guys I'm not going to spoil anything, but I was going to say a funny thing. So one of the guys, it was a Kung Fu fighter. And I can't remember which one of the announcer was like, he has a black sash and something crane, Kung Fu, dragon, tiger fist. And I was like, oh, they don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate when I hear that.
It's I think I mentioned in one of our earlier episodes, but someone be like, oh, this Japanese fighter is a black belt in judo. And I'm just like, from like black belt in Japan, it's like totally different from black belt in some of the Western countries. So then people look at it and be like, oh, even a Japanese black belt can't take this guy down. So judo must suck in MMA. Like,
yeah,
I've heard in Canada that a Japanese shodan is equivalent to a Nikyo here, a blue belt.
Yeah.
Once you get to the second dan in Japan, that's equivalent to our shodan. So
yeah, I've heard that same here in the US.
Well, you need a fourth degree black belt to teach in Japan. That's the instructor
rank.
Yeah. So
the fourth degree, my Japanese friend at our club, he did he's doing grad work, research here at the university, but he lived and did research in LA. He went to Teneri, I think.
Teneri? Yeah.
Teneri, yeah. And I guess I'll tell his story, but he said that Rhonda came in one time and he said he threw Rhonda and she cried, which makes sense. I think that's how she is. So yeah. But
Teneri's a rumble house from what I've heard. So yeah.
Yeah, so all they do is just spar there.
That's what I heard. I was surprised to hear that. They don't really teach, right?
We get a lot of their students actually, right?
Okay.
Well, you go there, you do a warm up, and then they just spar the entire 2 hours or hour and a half, whatever their classes. They just have a bell and just cycle in and out. They have good kids classes there. They actually teach the youth pretty well, but the adults, it's like if you're there, if you're not a brown belt or black belt, don't go. I'm sorry.
So they to give you an idea how good they are. Like we had a team tournament here recently, like shortly before the shutdown, and they only could field 3 people. Like it's a team of 4 people, but they could only field 3 people, and they still got first place. So
okay.
So they started with 1 loss basically, like and they still won. But yeah, they have great, really strong, really good judokas there. It's just that they don't instruct beginners, and a lot of people told me, I was a white belt. I went there. It just told me they're not going to teach me. Basically, I'll just have to sink or swim. And it's their first day of class and they still get the shit thrown out of them. So, and I looked at their Yelp reviews on Yelp and it confirms it. So I think it's a great place to train if you already have a background in judo. But
Yeah. I remember because in my mind, when I think of LA for judo, it's just that. I'm really not familiar with any dojos there, other than I fought a guy from Cal State Long Beach once, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. At the Cal State games.
There's a lot of dojos
There's
here.
a dojo there.
All of them. Yeah.
So
if you're ever coming to Los Angeles, there's tons of dojos out here. But yeah, if you're ever back in Southern California, come visit us, man. When we're reopen.
Yeah, I'd love to
train.
All
right. So Anthony, do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Do you have anything else, Kristian, that you want to plug, or your social media stuff?
I really don't post on my Instagram, but you can look for me on Reddit. I'm C. I think my name on Reddit is like C Kristian Tyler. You'll see me. I post a lot on the judo subreddit, so I'll usually be like leg grabs or commenting on Dave's posts or your guys' posts. So I love judo.
We can talk more about sumo, the upcoming sumo tournament next month when it's done.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
All right. That's next week. Next month's homework. All right.
Wow.
What a great interview that was. Did you enjoy yourself, Anthony? Because I know I did.
Yeah, I want to talk with them more, but it was like, oh man, they're just ready. Looking at the clock, it's going.
That interview went about an hour, just rambling, talking about all these little random things.
Yeah.
Canada, United States, sumo. Since you want to
maybe we should move to Canada. It looks like.
It's too. I love the cold weather, but that's just too cold for me. All right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I like Southern California weather here.
We can't train outside. Be like, hey guys, let's train outside at 0 below.
This is what I like about judo, though. It's that anywhere you go, like even when I went to Japan, you can just like sit down and talk about judo and bond over it. And I guess like just martial arts in general. Like it's not just judo, but judo is much more international. So.
Yeah, it's like I was on my friend's podcast on Catch Wrestling Alliance. I told him that judo is like its own international language. Wherever I go and I do judo, I can understand what they're talking about. We can talk about judo. I don't have to understand French or Russian or German, but we get on the mat, we all speak the same language. We all speak judo.
I forgot to mention this when we were doing the Tokyo podcast, Japan podcast episode, but literally right off when we got off the plane, we took a bus to our hotel that night and we were out, me and Richard were just on the bus talking about judo. And then some guy randomly sitting behind us is like, are you guys competing? And I'm like, no, we're here to like watch our friend and just and train. And he was a judo reporter for, I don't want to say the wrong country. I'm trying not Serbia, some Eastern Europe. I want to say Serbia, but I might be wrong.
Okay. For
some Eastern European country. And he was like, I don't train judo, but I love judo. Like they had me cover he's like, when he first started reporting, he fell in love with the sport, just reporting, because he got assigned to it, but he doesn't know what it is. And he learned it over time and how he just loved it. And he was like asking for contact information. Maybe we can go watch it together and stuff. But I didn't tell him that I had the better seats, even though because I didn't know.
But he's a news reporter. Did he have?
Yeah. Still,
seats?
I found out he had the best seats because he was right in front of action with the cameras and stuff. But then he had, he was like, oh, I didn't bring a camera. I just have an iPhone. Like,
did he have it? It was like funny iPhone lenses on it to make it look fancy.
I don't think so. He said his budget was very limited, but he is just someone who doesn't train judo but loves it just from being exposed to it. But we got the bond over it that way too. So yeah, freaking love judo, man.
Yeah, judo is a great sport. It's a great way to just get it international. Any country you go to, you can go to a judo dojo and they'll accept you. You know, as long as you have insurance or some stuff in some countries, just in case you get hurt. But the judo I do in America is the same judo I'll do in, like I always see, France, Russia, Canada, Mexico, Brazil. Judo is judo. You can train judo anywhere in the world. Where with me being my karate style, Tong Sudo, I go to Tong Sudo dojo just down the street sometimes, and they're looking at me like I'm a weirdo with my style because I come from a not Chikundo fully, but yeah, it's a different lineage and stuff. So that's the cool thing about judo. So Anthony, is that a great interview or what? Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Do you want to plug in your new no gi stuff?
Yeah, I guess I could talk about that. I've been talking about it a lot lately, but if anybody's interested, so I do catch wrestling with Catch Wrestling Alliance, and Raul there is trying to make a big, just a big archive, a big library of different grappling styles. So what I did with him is that I always talk about putting up my own no-gi judo videos. And he said, hey, why don't you just put it on my website? So since he already has fans and he has a base already, I decided, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So like I said, about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I made some no-gi judo videos, and I have 4 videos out on his website right now. I have Haraigoshi, Ogoshi, Taitoshi, and Uchimata no-gi style. And it's 3 different ways of throwing. The first 3 are from a head and arm position, but they're from different arms positions, but it's from like the head position. And the last one is my favorite way of throwing people, which is an underhook. And those are available on his YouTube page at Catch Wrestling Alliance. I also did podcasts with him on his YouTube page again for his YouTube and Twitch. And Anthony loves Twitch.
I was asking Juan, like, oh, did Raul listen to my podcast and started making a Twitch account because of that? No.
Actually, it's because he said it's easier to get sponsored on Twitch than it is almost anything else.
Actually, it is.
So me and Anthony might start doing Twitch too.
We should do live Twitch streams. Like, come over to my house. We'll just start throwing each other in the back.
If your wife allows me over to your house, I'll come over. Okay.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see how.
All right, we do a live Twitch one day, maybe, guys. Whatever you guys want to see us do, let us know. We'll throw each other. We'll teach some techniques. We'll show some things. I'll show some no-gi technique if people are really interested in it, because I think that there are certain throws that you see done in MMA, or I do a catch wrestling sometimes, that people just don't know how to do right. And the thing is that they see it and they try to mimic it, but they don't know it. And even if you do think you know it, there are little things that a judo player knows how to do right. So,
yeah. Do they have a code that we can use that can get a kickback from? No, I'm just kidding.
No, there's no code yet.
It's like, use the code Tatami Talk.
Hey, when I'm on his podcast, I push us all the time. You know, I talk about my podcast, Tatami Talk Us. I talk about Hollywood Judo. I talk about Judo period. It's actually funny. When we did the live stream, a guy, I'm going on a tangent now, make our own show longer. Someone kept on sending questions in about, what do I like better, wrestling or judo? Since that's pretty much my base of grappling. And I told him, like, you can do both. And then Raul was like, oh, how about catch wrestling? How about you do catch wrestling instead? And I was like, well, we are on a catch wrestling website right now. We're doing a catch wrestling stream. So yeah, you should try catch also. But try it all out there. Like we just talked about in the podcast earlier. Yeah. Try it all. Do everything. There's no limit to trying your style of grappling. We're judo players. We love judo, but we also...
as I said, and if you listen to the interview, don't limit yourself to grappling. Like, even
come in with a front kick to the guy, then come in for Haraigoshi afterwards. Okay,
you can always learn something from something. So try it once. Yeah,
jab, cross, underhook, Haraigoshi,
aka MMA. Okay, long enough.
All right. So please like, share, and subscribe, everybody. You can follow us on YouTube at tatamitalk.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Tatami Talk. You can follow me at _Juan on Instagram. You can follow Anthony at Anthony Throws on Instagram. If you want to send us any questions or anything, that's at tatamitalk@gmail.com. And Anthony, is that everything?
You said we had an Instagram now, right?
I mentioned Instagram.
Okay. All right.
Another Instagram again. All right.
Okay. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Peace.